Hi students, welcome back to my channel. So in the last session we have studied about the part 1 of structure of atom, that is about electromagnetic wave. Okay, electromagnetic wave, okay, they have wide variety of wavelength and frequency. They have wide variety of wavelength and frequency. Now this entire range of wavelength is known as electromagnetic spectrum. So what are the electromagnetic wave we have? Cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, okay, ultraviolet, visible, infrared, microwaves, radio waves. Okay, so all these are what? Electromagnetic waves. And among these electromagnetic waves, cosmic rays have a smaller wavelength. That means they are of shorter wavelength. Okay, and radio waves are of longer wavelength. This arrangement of this entire range of electromagnetic waves, we call it as what? इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम. इसे क्या कहते हैं बच्चों? इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम कहते हैं. ठीक है. सो इट इज अरेंज इन द इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ वेवलेंथ एंड फ्रीक्वेंसी. इज कॉल्ड इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम. एंड बिटवीन दीज UV and IR, we have a light ray that is very sensitive to our eye, that is visible light. Okay, and are these visible light also consist of different colors of light, that is ranging from violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red, ranging from violet color of light to red color of light. Among these violet color to red color of light, okay, violet color of light have shorter wavelength. ठीक है, इनका wavelength जो है shorter होता है. And this red color of light have longer wavelength, that is from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. Clear for everyone? So arrangement of these visible light rays from violet color of light to red color of light, इसे क्या कहते हैं आप? Now this is called a visible spectrum. This is called visible spectrum. So that is what we have studied in our session 1, the topic structure of atom. Okay, let us try to learn the next topic of our chapter, structure of atom, that is Max Planck proposal. Okay, so before we study about Max Planck proposal, let us try to recall some incident we generally come across, like heating an iron rod. Okay, let us take this is an iron rod. ठीक है, ये आयरन रॉड समझिएगा, आयरन रॉड. ओके, नाउ दिस आयरन रॉड इज हीटेड. ठीक है, समझो इट इज आयरन रॉड इज हीटेड. ओके, सो व्हेन आयरन रॉड इज हीटेड, it emits energy as light. Initially when iron rod is heated, it emits which color of light? Red color of light emit करता है. ठीक है, so red color of light we all know it is of lower energy with longer wavelength. ठीक है, as the rod is heated, as the rod is heated further, जैसा आप रॉड को हीट करते जाते हो further, what happens? Right, it emits orange color of light, then yellow, then green. When temperature is high enough, when temperature is further increased, it emits blue color of light. Okay, thus as you increase the temperature, you may get a white color of light. Thus we can say that the energy that is emitted by this material body, it increases with increase in temperature. When rod is heated, right, when rod is heated, initially we have seen red color of light, then orange, yellow, then blue. When temperature is further increased, white color of light is emitted. Right? Does it mean that other colors of light are not emitted? No. When rod is heated, we may not able to see other color of light which is emitted, because when temperature is high, all colors are emitted. Is it clear? When temperature is high, all colors are emitted, but due to intensity of one color, एक कलर का इंटेंसिटी ज्यादा रहने की वजह से आप दूसरे कलर ऑफ लाइट को देख नहीं पाते हो. This is what generally happens. It means that it is believed that the energy which is emitted will be in continuous manner. Then a scientist called Max Planck, then he suggested that atom and molecules, when they emit or absorb energy, that will be only in discrete quantities, not in continuous manner. It will be emitted in discrete quantities but not in continuous manner. Is it clear? Okay, what is suggested? Any atom or a molecule, when they absorb, okay, or emit energy, that absorption and emission of energy will be only in discrete quantities. अलग अलग छोटे छोटे quantities में energy emit करते हैं. They will not emit continuously. This is what the Max Planck proposal. And he gave the name for those quantities, those smallest quantities of energy, as quantum. As what? Quantum. So what is quantum? Quantum is smallest quantity of energy. Smallest quantity of energy. Clear, student? Right? Is it clear? What he suggested? He suggested that these atoms and molecules, they emit or absorb energy only in discrete quantities. And he gave the name for those discrete quantities as quantum. To the smallest, what is quantum? Quantum is the smallest quantity of energy that can be emitted or absorbed. And that emission and absorption will be in the form of electromagnetic radiations. And he represented, will be in the form of what, children? Electromagnetic radiations. And he represented this emission or absorption of energy, okay, with an equation that is E is equal to h nu. This is Max Planck's equation. E is equal to h nu, where h is, okay, Planck's constant, okay, and it takes values 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule seconds. Clear hai bachcho? Is it clear? According to him, energy is emitted in a small quantities, that is discrete quantities, अलग अलग quantities में emit होते हैं, like it is a multiples of h nu, 2h nu, 3h nu, 4h nu, so on. ये छोटे छोटे पैकेट्स में एनर्जी जो है emission और absorption होते हैं. Is it clear for everyone? So this is what Max Planck proposal. Then scientists have found that each element has its own characteristic color. Each element have its own characteristic color, and these colors they have discrete wavelength of light. Okay, is it clear? Every element, scientists have found out that every element have its own characteristic color. Like we have an activity, in activity 2, right? So cupric chloride is taken, right? Paste of cupric chloride is made with the help of platinum loop, right? It is heated on a non-luminous flame, and it is observed that this cupric chloride has emitted, okay, green color of light. An experiment when performed with strontium chloride, this strontium chloride has emitted crimson red color of light, and sodium vapors, our element sodium vapors, they emitted yellow color of light. It means that every element have its own characteristic color, and these colors which are emitted, right, these colors which are emitted, they have discrete wavelength of light. अलग अलग wavelengths होते हैं वो light जो emit हुआ है, ठीक है, and are called line spectra. And you call what? Line spectra. Okay, or atomic spectra. With the help of this atomic spectra, we can able to identify atom of an elements. Is it clear? Okay, every element have its own characteristic color to emit, and जो color emit हुआ है, right, they have their own wavelength and frequencies, and they produces a line on a spectra. What is the use of this line spectra? This line spectra is used to identify unknown atoms. Like how we use fingerprints to identify people, these line spectra, with the help of these line spectra, will identify unknown atoms. Is it clear, children? This is what about Max Planck proposals. Based on this Max Planck proposal, a scientist called Niels Bohr have proposed model of an atom. Now let us discuss Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. So now let us discuss Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Okay, so Niels Bohr proposed his model of atom in 1913. So this model is applicable to only hydrogen, and we know hydrogen atomic number is 1, number of electrons and number of protons are equal to 1. Okay, so what Niels Bohr have proposed, let us discuss. So before we discuss about Niels Bohr model of an atom, let us discuss what we have studied in our class 9. In our class 9, we have studied about J.J. Thomson's model of atom. So which I have explained about structure of atom. Okay, and according to him, atom is entirely looks like a sphere which is evenly distributed by positively charged particle, and in between that positively charged particles, electrons are embedded. And this Thomson's model of atom is modified by Rutherford by gold foil experiment. Okay, and he proposed a nuclear model of an atom. According to him, okay, all positively charged particles are concentrated at the center, and electrons are revolving around that positively charged particle, that is nucleus. Electrons revolving around the nucleus in a circular path, like planets revolving around the sun. Hence, Rutherford's model of atom is also called planetary atomic model or nuclear model of atom. But there is a limitation in the Rutherford's model of an atom. Okay, according to him, the center positively charged particle is concentrated, and he call it as nucleus, and around this nucleus electrons are revolving. Around this nucleus electrons are revolving. Okay, is it clear? This is what according to the Rutherford. When any charged particle, electron is a charged particle, negatively charged particle. When any charged particle revolves in a circular path, it is said to undergo acceleration. It is said to undergo acceleration. So any accelerated charged particle, when they revolve in a circular path, what happens? They radiate energy. They loses energy continuously if it happens. So, and at the same time, electron is negatively charged and nucleus is positively charged, and there exists some force of attraction between electron and the nucleus, right? So when any charged particle, when it is said to undergo acceleration, when it revolves in a circular path, what happens? It radiates energy continuously. If it loses energy continuously at a point of time, what happens? This electron should fall on the nucleus and an atom should collapse. But it is not happening. Atom is stable. Okay, so this is what the limitation of Rutherford's model of atom. To explain limitations of Rutherford's model of an atom, a scientist called Niels Bohr in the year 1913, he proposed a model of atom we called Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Okay. Now let us look into some of the points which are proposed by Rutherford. According to him, what he says, electron revolve around the nucleus. Electron revolve around the nucleus in a circular, in a definite path. In a definite path. Okay? So that is called as ऑर्बिट्स. ठीक है, फर्स्ट पॉइंट क्लियर है. इलेक्ट्रॉन्स जो है, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एटम के जो भी इलेक्ट्रॉन है, राइट, वो न्यूक्लियस के राउंड में रिवॉल्व होते हैं. दिस इज न्यूक्लियस, राइट. न्यूक्लियस के राउंड में इलेक्ट्रॉन्स रिवॉल्व होते हैं. ठीक है, इन अ डेफिनाइट पाथ, एंड दीज पाथ्स आर कॉल्ड एज ऑर्बिट्स. क्लियर फर्स्ट पॉइंट. ओके, एंड इट ऑल्सो सेज दैट the energy of electron in an orbit is fixed. ठीक है, अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन ये ऑर्बिट में घूमता है तो उसका एनर्जी फिक्स्ड है. ठीक है, अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन ये ऑर्बिट में घूमता है तो उसका एनर्जी फिक्स्ड है. राइट, ईच ऑर्बिट हैव फिक्स्ड अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी, लेट इट बी E1, E2, E3 सो ऑन. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन थर्ड ऑर्बिट में घूमता है तो उसका भी एनर्जी फिक्स्ड है. इसीलिए इन ऑर्बिट्स को क्या कहा जाता है, स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट्स. राइट, दे हैव फिक्स्ड एनर्जी, अलग अलग एनर्जीज होते हैं फिक्स्ड, और इन्हें स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट्स भी कहा जाता है और डिस्क्रीट ऑर्बिट भी कहा जाता है. डिस्क्रीट का मतलब क्या है, अलग, अलग अलग अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जीज होते हैं ऑर्बिट्स में. क्लियर है. अब थर्ड पॉइंट, when electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन लोअर ऑर्बिट से लेकर हायर ऑर्बिट को अगर जंप करता है, ओके, मानिएगा इलेक्ट्रॉन फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट में है, अगर वो फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट से लेकर थर्ड ऑर्बिट को अगर जंप करता है, ठीक है, energy is absorbed. ठीक है, is it clear? When electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit, and these orbits, as I said you, these are called what, stationary orbits. These are represented as with number 1, 2, 3, 4 so on, okay, and with alphabets, okay, and they are also represented with alphabet K, L, M, N so on. ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट अगर n इज इक्वल टू 1 है तो उसका कौन सा शेल है, K. इफ n इज इक्वल टू 2, कौन सा ऑर्बिट है, L. n इज इक्वल टू 3, M. n इज इक्वल टू 4, N. ठीक है, एंड दीज ऑर्बिट्स आर कॉल्ड व्हाट, स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट्स. क्यों स्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट कहा जाता है, क्योंकि एनर्जी उस ऑर्बिट में, इलेक्ट्रॉन का एनर्जी उस ऑर्बिट में फिक्स्ड है. ठीक है, ना एनर्जी लॉस करते हैं ना एनर्जी गेन करते हैं जब वो उस ऑर्बिट में, पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिट में रिवॉल्व होते हैं. ठीक है, अगर ये ऑर्बिट में इलेक्ट्रॉन रिवॉल्व हो रहा है तो उसका एनर्जी फिक्स्ड है, नाइदर दे लूजेस नॉर गेन्स एनर्जी. ओके, सो व्हेन इलेक्ट्रॉन जंप्स फ्रॉम लोअर ऑर्बिट टू हायर ऑर्बिट, एनर्जी इज एब्सॉर्ब्ड. ओके, एंड व्हेन इलेक्ट्रॉन जंप्स फ्रॉम higher orbit to lower orbit, energy is emitted. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन हायर ऑर्बिट से लेकर लोअर ऑर्बिट को जंप होता है, ठीक है, हायर ऑर्बिट से लेकर लोअर ऑर्बिट को, वो लोअर ऑर्बिट शायद कुछ भी हो सकता है बेटा, थर्ड ऑर्बिट से लेकर सेकंड ऑर्बिट, या थर्ड ऑर्बिट से लेकर फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट, सेकंड ऑर्बिट से फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट. अगर कोई भी इलेक्ट्रॉन हायर ऑर्बिट से लेकर लोअर ऑर्बिट को अगर जंप होते हैं तो एनर्जी क्या है बेटा, एनर्जी इज एमिटेड. ओके, व्हेन इलेक्ट्रॉन जंप्स फ्रॉम लोअर ऑर्बिट हायर ऑर्बिट, एनर्जी इज एब्सॉर्ब्ड. ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर फॉर एवरीवन? एंड आपको ये पॉइंट भी याद रखना है, as the n value increases, right, as the n value increases, electrons will move away from the nucleus. They will become far away from the nucleus. So these are the points that are put forward by Niels Bohr. And one more thing you need to remember that, right here, as I said you that when electron jumps from lower orbit to higher orbit and higher orbit to lower orbit, there is emission and absorption of energy. Now these energy which is emitted or absorbed will be in the form of electromagnetic radiations, will be in the form of electromagnetic radiations, and those energy which are emitted or absorbed will be of discrete amount of energy. Discrete amount, अलग अलग amount of energy emit करते हैं, अलग अलग amount of energy absorb करते हैं. ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर? सो जो एनर्जी एमिट हुआ है वो किसके फॉर्म में होता है बेटा? इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक रेडिएशन, दैट इज लाइट फॉर्म में होता है. अगर जो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक रेडिएशन एमिट हुआ है उसका भी अलग वेवलेंथ होता है. ठीक है, अलग वेवलेंथ के साथ वो एमिट करते हैं एंड विथ डिस्क्रीट कलर, अलग कलर भी होता है वो लाइट का. इफ द लाइट विच इज एमिटेड और एब्जॉर्ब्ड, if it falls in the visible region, then it produces a spectrum. Okay, and that spectrum we call it as line spectrum. It produces a spectrum, bands of colors of light of discrete wavelength. अलग अलग wavelength से lines produce करते हैं. ठीक है, and this is we call what? Line spectra of hydrogen. क्योंकि बोर्स मॉडल किसके बारे में एक्सप्लेन करता है? हाइड्रोजन के बारे में ही एक्सप्लेन करता है, राइट? तो ये स्पेक्ट्रम किसका बना? हाइड्रोजन का. जब इलेक्ट्रॉन हायर ऑर्बिट से लोअर ऑर्बिट, लोअर ऑर्बिट से हायर ऑर्बिट को जंप करते हैं तो एनर्जी इमिट करते हैं. ठीक है, वो एनर्जी जब इमिट करते हैं वो किसके फॉर्म में इमिट करते हैं? लाइट के फॉर्म में इमिट करते हैं. ठीक है, उसका वेवलेंथ अलग होता है और कलर भी अलग होते हैं, राइट? उस कलर वो प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, राइट? सो दे प्रोड्यूस अस ए स्पेक्ट्रम. Is it clear? So these are the points that are put forward by Niels Bohr to explain his model of atom. Okay, and this model of atom have certain limitations. What are those limitations? The first limitation is fails to explain fine splitting of line spectra of hydrogen atom. Then again it is okay seen that each line which is emitted by hydrogen, okay, each line which is emitted by hydrogen, in turn it consists of fine lines, that is called as fine splitting of line spectra. He fails to explain fine splitting of line spectra. Okay, and the second limitation is it is applicable. Okay, it is not applicable to multi-electron system. Yani if any atom or ion having more than one electron, this model of atom is not applicable. Is it clear? So these are the postulates which are put forward by Niels Bohr. So to explain the limitations of Bohr's model of atom, right, a scientist called Sommerfeld have explained his model of atom. So according to Niels Bohr, what he considered, right, at the center of an atom consists of a nucleus and around the nucleus electrons are revolving. ठीक है, electrons जो है nucleus के around में revolve हो रहे हैं. ठीक है. Now next scientist to explain the limitations of Bohr's model of atom, Sommerfeld have proposed a model of atom. Okay, that we called as Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. Now let us discuss Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. ठीक है, इससे पहले का क्वेश्चन Bohr's model of atom 4 marks का क्वेश्चन है, so please practice it. Now the next is one more 4 marks of question, Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. So to explain fine splitting of line spectra of hydrogen atom, okay, this model is proposed. Okay, इसे elliptical model भी कहा जाता है, elliptical model of atom. According to Bohr, electrons are revolving in a circular path, definite path में revolve हो रहे हैं. ठीक है, but according to him, what he says, electrons instead of revolving in circular orbit, they revolve in an elliptical orbit. Okay, they revolve in elliptical orbit. Now let us discuss that. So Bohr-Sommerfeld model, he explains about what beta? Fine splitting, okay, line spectra of हाइड्रोजन एटम का राइट फाइन लाइन स्पेक्ट्रा एक्सप्लेन करता है हाइड्रोजन एटम. Okay, so what are the points that he put forward? So according to him, electrons will revolve, right, in the form of what beta? Elliptical orbit. Instead of revolving in circular orbit, electrons will revolve in elliptical orbit. Electrons जो है elliptical orbit पे revolve होते हैं, ठीक है. बट बोर के हिसाब से इलेक्ट्रॉन कहाँ है बेटा? न्यूक्लियस के राउंड में. दिस इज बोर ऑर्बिट, बट दिस इज व्हाट? एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट. ठीक है. सोमरफेल्ड क्या कहता है? एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट के बारे में कहता है. इसके दो एक्सिस होते हैं, एक मेजर एक्सिस, माइनर एक्सिस. ठीक है. अकॉर्डिंग टू हम इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विल रिवॉल्व इन एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट. नाउ वेयर द न्यूक्लियस इज प्रेजेंट देन. न्यूक्लियस कहाँ है? राइट, बोर के हिसाब से तो सेंटर है, एटम के सेंटर में. ठीक है. अब न्यूक्लियस अकॉर्डिंग टू सोमरफेल्ड, न्यूक्लियस इज प्रेजेंट एट एनी वन ऑफ द फोकाई. they are present at, nucleus is present at any one of the foci. Okay, so while explaining his elliptical model of atom, okay, he retained first orbit as circular. He represented by n is equal to 1 and l is equal to 0. ठीक है. So जब उन्होंने explain किया है, so first he retained what? He retained first orbit of Bohr. He retained first orbit of Bohr as circular. Means for a Bohr first orbit, n is equal to 1. Okay. Number of elliptical orbits are 0. No elliptical orbits are present. Clear? Now second point, what he says, okay, he added one elliptical orbit. He added one elliptical orbit for Bohr second orbit. Right, represented as n is equal to 2, l is equal to 0 and 1. Okay, so here I'll write, okay, this is Bohr first orbit, he retained it as circular, and for the second orbit, instead of circular, it will be in elliptical one. Now here for n is equal to 2 and l is equal to 0 and l is equal to 1. Means for a Bohr second orbit, number of elliptical orbits are 1. In the same way, right, he added two elliptical orbit. He added 2 elliptical orbit for Bohr third orbit, represented as n is equal to 3, l is equal to 0, 1, 2. L is equal to 0 and l is equal to 1, l is equal to 2. Is it clear? Means for the Bohr second orbit, okay, for the Bohr second orbit, there is only one elliptical orbit. For Bohr third orbit, there will be 2 elliptical orbit. For his, n is equal to 1, okay, l is equal to 0, l is equal to 1 and l is equal to 2. So in this way, he explained his model of an atom. Okay, that is elliptical model of atom. But there are certain limitations in this model of atom too. This atom fails to explain atomic spectra of atom more than one electron. एक से ज़्यादा इलेक्ट्रॉन के एटॉमिक स्पेक्ट्रा एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाया सोमरफेल्ड ने. Right? Then after this, right, many other models were proposed by different scientists to explain the structure of atom. That we'll discuss in the next class. So if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you children. Have a good day.